Now that we have our form input component, we also want a button component that's custom. Now, this button is also going to be a presentational component, similar to our form input. And the reason why we're building them as their own component is so that this component can be used in any other component that might need consistent input styling that we have across our application. So what do I mean by this? Well, up till this point, we've pretty much limited all of our styling for our titles and our menu items and our collection items all in this or whichever respective component that they're in. So any styling for the homepage sits in the homepage styles.sass file. But now we're running into components that we know are going to be reused across the application. So if we look at our final application, we see that we're going to use the button in our sign-in, we're going to use the button in our sign-up, and we're also going to use our form input across both the sign-in and the sign-up. So limiting our form input styles to just the sign-in would cause us to have to repeat that same style code inside of our sign-up as well. But we don't want to do that. We want to make components that we can reuse across our application. And even our button is used in more than just our sign-in page. We know it's going to be used inside of our checkout, and we see that this is actually inversed. So it's going to have to be a pretty flexible button. Including in our shop, we use something similar as well. So how are we going to build this? Well, first, let's just start with building our sign-in button for our sign-in page. We'll add the functionality as we require it, because this way it allows us to reevaluate and properly consider the trade-offs of how we should build our button. So let's go back to our component. And let's add in this new custom button component. And let's just make custom button.component.jsx and custom button.styles.sass. We'll import React. From React, we'll import in our style sheet. And then we're just going to export a stateless functional component called custom button. And it's just going to render a button component. And then we're going to attach the styling to our custom button class name. Now, you might wonder, if this is a button, but in our actual sign-in component, we were using an input to do our HTML form submission, how would it continue to work if we switch it to a button? Well, for both button and input, they can both take this property of type submit, and they can both submit the form that they're in. They'll both trigger, when clicked, if they have the type submit, the onSubmit method on our form. So what we want to do is we want to be able to pass that in. So what we'll do is we'll first pull the children off of our props that get passed into our custom button. And then we're going to destructure all the other props into this other props property and spread that into our custom button. Now, if we have a type submit being passed into custom button, the button will get that. And then we'll put children inside of our button component. And now, if we export our custom button, and then we add in our custom button styles, which I have provided right here, we can now import our custom button into our component and replace this input with it. Now, instead of doing a value here, because we have children, we're just going to put sign in like so. And now we have our button. There's a little bit of styling we need to add to our sign in component itself. And what we will do is we will go to our sign in styles. And we're just going to add a display flex, a flex direction of column, because we want all of our elements inside of our sign-in to sit vertically. And then we're also going to add a bit of a margin between our title. So we're going to put margin of 10 pixels on the top and the bottom. And now we have our sign-in component. So next, we're going to start integrating with Firebase, and that is going to be a really exciting lesson.